Hello guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here back with a new video. As I promised, I was going to make two more video related to inflation. So today or right now we are doing degrees of inflation. Alright, this is for AS level. Uh, so yeah, but still you guys, if you don't have AS level, you guys can still watch it. Okay. So before you go ahead and watch my video, so go ahead, subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep supporting me like you always have been. Also ring the bell notification so that you are notified whenever I post a new video on this channel. All right. So I'm just going to talk about inflation in general at first. So what is inflation? Already that I have already taught you what inflation is. If you haven't watched my previous video, I will post a link a card over here in this video and also put that video in my description. So go down in the description and watch the previous video. So inflation is basically an average rise in general prices in the economy of goods and services during a particular time period. Okay, so the picture next to it also showcases the same definition. 50 years time period, a cup of coffee, goods and services, and the rise in price over period of time. Okay, so degrees of inflation, or we can say the four main types of inflation. First is creeping or mild inflation. Next is walking inflation. Third is the galloping inflation, and the last is hyperinflation. These all are in order of the intensity of inflation. So, degrees of inflation, and we are gonna get into it in deep for four of these. Okay, so the first kind of inflation that we are gonna uh, study about is the creeping inflation. So, when there is a creeping or a mild inflation, that time you know that the rise in price is 3% a year or less. Okay, so 3% or less, that means that the economy is going through a creeping or a mild inflation, which is very beneficial for economic growth. And this kind of mild inflation like makes consumer expect that the prices will keep going up. That boosts the demand, the economy, uh, because consumer feel that in future the prices are going to get even higher and higher, so they stock beforehand, which increases the demand. So consumers buy now to beat the higher future prices. Okay, so creeping inflation in any economy is a good inflation. Okay, this because this boosts the economic output and also the GDP. Next, we have the walking inflation. Now, this walking inflation is known to be a strong or a destructive kind of inflation, and it has a range of 3 to 4% inflation per year. Okay, so it is harmful to the economy because it heats up the economic growth too fast. So, like we did for creeping inflation, that there is an economic growth or economic development in the country or the economy, but when the rate of inflation increases, the rate of growth increases as well, which heats up the economy. Okay, so again the same effect of beating the higher future prices happens. So people start to buy more than they need to avoid tomorrow's much higher prices. Okay, this increased buying drives demand even further so that suppliers can't keep up. So when there is too much demand at a particular price, in present, the suppliers cannot keep up to their demand. Okay, so the suppliers cannot supply. This will create shortage in the country or the economy. Okay, so this is walking inflation. Any rate of inflation between 3 to 10 is a walking inflation. Next, we have galloping inflation, as the name suggests. So, when inflation rises to 10% or more, okay, so more than 10 or equal to 10%, it wreaks absolute havoc on the economy. Okay, so these are few heavy words or extreme words used. So money loses its value because there is too much inflation. So fast that business and employee income can't keep up with the costs and price. Foreign investors, like, they avoid the countries, okay, depriving it of any needed capital. So if there are no foreign investors in the country, there won't be any capital as such in the economy. So the economy becomes unstable and the government leaders lose credibility. Okay. Galloping inflation must be prevented at all cost. So if galloping inflation should be prevented at all cost, imagine what happens when there is hyperinflation. Okay, so the value of the currency or the money value falls. This is because of a lot of money supply in the economy. Okay, so for example, as a kid, okay, as a kid, if you were a kid and if you like chocolates, well and good. Okay, so this is an example that I have noticed a lot. So if you have 10 or 20 chocolates or a number of chocolates, okay, so they're not scarce, you can just have it whenever you want to. Okay, that's the supply. Okay, so you don't value that chocolate, all right, because it's like, okay, yeah, you keep getting that same product again and again and again, so you won't value it. But once, if you have only one chocolate, you might save up for like 2 3 5 days maximum. So that's the value of the chocolate when it's scarce, and when it's not, the value is lost. So that's the same case what happens to money. All right. Next kind of inflation is hyperinflation. Okay, it's more destructive than galloping inflation. Hyperinflation is when prices skyrocket more than 50% a month. Okay, so the time period has shortened from 1 year to 1 month, and the percentage or the rate has increased to 50 or more. It's a rare case that happens in an economy. In fact, most examples of hyperinflation occurs when governments start printing money to pay for wars or something. Okay, so if a country is lacking money supply in the country to pay for wars, they start printing more money, and this is how hyperinflation is caused. So the best examples of hyperinflation can be Germany's hyperinflation in 1920s, Zimbabwe's in 2000s, and Venezuela's in 2010. Okay, so this is how these were the few examples of hyperinflation. If you were wondering any if you were wanted to relate to any such examples, all right. So now, why does this hyperinflation happen, or what causes hyperinflation basically? So first step to cause a hyperinflation in economy is if when a country government begins printing more money to pay for its spending. Okay, so first thing first, remember that the government or the central bank can only issue or print money, no one else. All right, so when the country or the government starts printing more money in order to spend more in the economy, that's when hyperinflation might take place. Instead of tightening the money supply to stop inflation, the government keeps on printing more money. Okay, so instead of tightening the money supply, okay, after the work is done, instead they should have tightened the money supply just in order to stop inflation. They kept printing money like too much. So as the government increases the money supply, the prices rise as in regular inflation. So just as regular inflation, the prices keeps on rising as the money supply increases. Now, how is it related to money supply and prices? Okay, so when money supply increases, the value of the currency decreases. So now this, if that same 100 rupees could buy me for, let's say, it could buy me five, let's say, five chocolate, like imported ones. Okay, so five chocolates. Now that same money can buy me only four. So the value has decreased from 5 to 4. All right. Prices rise as in regular inflation. So now when the chocolate was $20, okay, for one, now the same price is 25. From 4 to 5 to 4, the prices have increased from 20 to 25. All right, so that's an increase in price. With too much currency sloshing around, prices skyrocket eventually. Okay, so just like regular inflation, these inflations are not tightened or not stopped. That's why this inflation happens. And the main cause is, as said, more money supply in the country. Okay, so that was all about hyperinflation, galloping inflation, walking inflation, creeping inflation. All right, so these were the four types of inflation. Next we have, yeah, these are the four types of inflation, and I really like this picture. If you guys want to take a screenshot, you can take it right now. Okay, yeah. So we also discussed what inflation was, and yeah, so keep watching my YouTube channel, and like this is the end of the video. So keep watching my YouTube videos, my YouTube channel, keep supporting me, like on my YouTube channel, subscribe to me, ring that bell notification so that you're always notified when I post a new video. And this was the end of the video, degrees of inflation by me. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for watching the video till end. I hope you liked it. I hope this was something very uh, fun to understand, to learn what are the degrees of inflation. So I'm not gonna waste any more time. Bye bye.